You ever wake up, step onto your old hardwood floor, and think, today's gonna be simple? That was me sipping coffee in the same kitchen where my dad used to fry eggs at 5 a.m. sharp when I opened a letter that said, my house, my family's home for over 150 years, was being claimed by the local HOA. Except here's the twist. I was never part of that HOA. Not once. Not ever. That house wasn't just mine. It was my bloodline. Built just after the Civil War by my great-great-great-grandfather with timber he chopped and stone he hauled from the creek out back. Back then, the land was nothing but ashes and bone. But he came back, brought his family, and rebuilt plank by plank, dream by dream. Over generations, it passed hands. Got electricity plumbing a porch swing, but the soul never changed. My dad Russell was the last one before me. Grew up on a mule and died in a hospital bed after a long fight with time. Stubborn as an ox, but honorable to his core. He worked the land until his knees gave out. But even then, he sat out on the porch, giving orders like a general. And when he passed, he left me the house, the land, and a warning I didn't pay enough attention to at the time: keep the lawyers close and the HOA far. Now, I thought I understood what that meant, annoying neighbors trying to tell you how to cut your grass. What I didn't expect was to be ambushed by paperwork claiming I owed 5 years of HOA dues for a group I never joined, voted for, or even acknowledged. I figured it was a clerical error until I saw the word Lien in bold. They wanted my home. I flipped the page and saw a name I'd seen before on flyers and smug little newsletters: Margaret Dempsey, president of the Willowbrook Preservation Society, fancy name for a bunch of retirees on power trips. She claimed my dad voluntarily added our property into the HOA before he passed. Said I'd been ignoring notices and penalties. And get this, they were starting foreclosure proceedings. Now, I'm not a hothead, but something about strangers trying to steal your legacy, your father's dying wish, well, that lights a fire you don't put out easy. I drove straight to their office, or more accurately, Margaret's pristine 2-story, with identical flower beds and a bird bath shaped like a cherub. I knocked once. She answered like she was expecting royalty. Pearl earrings, tight smile haircut that hadn't moved in 10 years. I held the letter up. Explain. She glanced at it for 2 seconds. Oh yes, that's just the legal notice. Your father enrolled your home in our HOA before his passing. We're simply executing the protocol. Funny, I said, because on the date he allegedly signed, he was under anesthesia getting a titanium hip at County General. I've got the surgical record. You want a copy, or should I FedEx it to the court? She blinked, paused, then gave me that look like a cat who just got caught knocking over the vase, but still thinks it's your fault. Well, she said slowly, perhaps the notary miswrote the date. But I assure you, the signature is valid. I want the contract, a copy, now. That's internal HOA documentation, and I'm afraid, lady, I will camp on your lawn until the sheriff comes. I'll read War and Peace, cover to cover, on your porch swing if I have to. That got her moving. She returned with a photocopy that almost looked like Dad's handwriting, except for the fact that he signed everything with a little swirl on the R in Russell. This one didn't have it. I took it straight to my lawyer, Marcy, who just about choked on her coffee when she saw the document. "That's not your dad's signature," she said, flipping to the witness line. "And this notary hasn't held a valid license in 4 years. We've got forgery." What came next wasn't just a defense, it was a counterstrike. We gathered everything. My dad's medical records, the real signature samples, copies of all the HOA's letters, rejections, offers, threats. I'd been collecting them for years and tacking them to the wall in the mudroom. We called it the Shrine of No. Turns out that shrine was my salvation. The court date came fast. Margaret walked in like she was headed to brunch. Designer bag, HOA-funded lawyer, that same smug expression. She opened with a long statement about community cohesion and protecting neighborhood standards. Then Marcy stood up and tore it all down. "Your Honor, we have evidence that the alleged contract was signed while Mr. Russell Graves was under full sedation. We have documents showing the notary was inactive, and we have reason to believe this lien was filed as a deliberate act of harassment." The judge raised an eyebrow. "You have proof." I nodded, pulled out a binder 3 inches thick, and handed it to the clerk. Margaret's face cracked right then. Just a twitch, but it was there. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, Marcy added, "Also, Your Honor, we have financial records showing that HOA dues were being routed to personal bank accounts under Margaret Dempsey's control. Accounts not tied to the association's registry." It was like watching a sandcastle get hit by a wave. She didn't even deny it. Her lawyer whispered something she whispered back. And then we got the deal. Lien dropped, case dismissed, and a quiet request to settle. But I wasn't done. We filed charges: forgery, fraud, embezzlement. And guess what? Turns out she'd done this before twice. Tried to annex properties she had no right to. Claimed widows joined the HOA on their deathbeds. She was a queen of paperwork manipulation. This time she got caught. Margaret Dempsey is currently serving time for fraud. The HOA dissolved. Homeowners voted to shut it down once the truth came out. A few neighbors even came by to thank me for fighting a war they'd been too scared to start. And me, I'm still living in that house. My kids know every nail in the floorboards. And the Shrine of No is now framed in glass above the fireplace. But you know what I think about most? How close I came to losing everything because someone with a title and a fax machine decided they wanted what wasn't theirs. How many people don't have the paper trail or the money for a lawyer? How many just fold? So here's my question to you. Where do we draw the line? When does a neighborhood association stop being helpful and start becoming a tool for control? Have you ever had to stand your ground literally against a system trying to push you out? Drop your stories in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because if you've learned anything from my story, it's this: if you don't fight for your land, someone else will try to claim it for you.